Alright, hello there. This is Naginayo 101. How do you do? Anyway, I decided that since this is a late night thing, I was gonna be nice and warm and toasty because it's kind of cold outside. I decided to discuss something that is actually pretty fun. Well, actually, it's not really fun. It's actually a pretty traumatic situation that happened between 2010 and 2012. This ended with a person actually going to jail. Not me. Okay? Not me. Alright, if you ever Google Naginayoa 101, which is my online handle for the most part, for most of what I do, you will find a DA account. I don't use this DA account very often, and it is my old DA account. You'll see some of my artwork and a bunch of other things. I wish I could show it to you, but I'm not very tech savvy, so on my phone, so yeah. Anyway, let's start with the whole story. We're not going to use real names. I'm going to call this person Barry, and trust me, Barry was not a very nice person. So anyway, let's start it off. Well, back in 2009, I met this guy online. He seemed pretty decent. Met him on Facebook. He was friends with a bunch of mutual friends of mine. Pretty nice guy. Until you find out a few things about him. And then you're not so impressed. So, let's start. Red flag number 1. He got banned from a convention. Not banned. I mean, if he shows up, he gets escorted out by the police. I mean, if you think the furries with their furry raiders issue was bad, this guy took the cake constantly. So we had a code name for him, and I'm not going to give that code name out to anybody right now. Well, I don't want to give it out, really. It's kind of trying to sweep it under the rug, you know. So back at the time, I was discussing stuff. I was out in Dallas dealing with some personal shit, and believe me, it was personal. And this guy was talking to me, asking advice, and I was getting it, and pretty much he was using the advice, which actually saved his carcass a couple times. But one of the things he couldn't escape was his own bad karma. I mean, this guy's karma was so bad that he got chased out of not just one fandom, he got chased out of about 1,000 different fandoms over it. He got chased out of the 501st. He got chased out of the fur fandom for being kind of a bigot about it. I mean, he assumed since I was a furry that yeah, we'll not get into that one. So, yeah, his karma was pretty rotten for the most part. And I mean, I don't mean to be mean about it, but when Barry came to me for advice, I gave it, you know, pretty nice, decent advice. I expected him to actually follow the advice and actually stop going to these conventions. Didn't quite fly. So, in 2011, in 2010, we had a falling out. And I mean falling out. He became a threat to a couple people I knew. And I contacted the convention that he was pissed at. And another convention. One that I don't do panels for anymore. And that one, I was expressing a concern. And I said, excuse me, I want to express a concern about this individual. He's doing this, this, and this, and I'm very concerned for the safety of the con attendees. He has threatened me. We already took legal action on this issue, but I do not feel comfortable with, and I took it to con security, and they took care of it. In fact, that they handled it better than I thought, because I had a picture of the guy, I had information on this person, I even had the guy's goddamn email. Then, the threats. One, I was working at a particular Walmart, a very nice Walmart, by the way, and he threatened one problem. He threatened that I was contacting him while I was at work. The only thing is, I didn't have a smartphone at the time. Joke's on him. I didn't have a smartphone. I had a little flip phone that was yay big. But I kept it in my pocket, turned off most of the time. He didn't even know my Twitter account, thank God. I mean, he didn't even bother looking for that one. And that was where I usually talk to people, mostly on Twitter, because, well, that's how some people got a hold of me, was through Twitter. Not through YouTube, not through Facebook sometimes. They did get a hold of me through Facebook. And most times, I would get contacted on my DA account. Well, 2011 hit, and I had put up a memorial for a particular... This was near the end of 2011, and I had just lost the most precious thing in my life, which was my dearly beloved cat, Kurtz. This is a kitten that I absolutely loved, and I adored him. And he ended up getting eaten by a wild animal. Oh, Barry didn't think so. He accused me of killing my own cat. Not only was my heart already ripped out, he pretty much ripped it out, stomped on it, shat on it, stomped on it again for good measure, and emotionally, I couldn't handle it anymore, and I didn't close the account. In fact, the Nagi Nayoa of Schwartz is still up. If you ever look on my YouTube, it's all one word, but it kind of broke me a little bit. And this is the problem with Barry. Barry likes to do this to people. He likes to break them down. He likes to be all nice and friendly, build up their self-esteem, and then he breaks them down. I mean, literally breaks them down. Takes a frickin' bat and bashes it. He threatened my fiance. He threatened a lot of people. And the thing is, there was one person who was one of my friends that I had met, and he gave me my backbone back. Yeah, this is a guy, I don't talk to anymore. There's personal reasons behind that one, but, he pretty much told me that he had already took the messages off of, all the stuff that was on DA on another account, and he sent it to the police. Well, I got a phone call. I was going out on a date with my fiance, and I got this phone call from the Durango police in Colorado. Yeah. And yes, I confirmed what happened. Yes, I confirmed the threats. Barry was stuck there for a little while. And the threats ended. For now. I basically shut down certain accounts. I locked certain accounts. My Facebook was set to private, which meant only my friends and maybe a few other people could see it. And that was it. That was it with this person. But it wasn't the end of the show. Oh boy, every now and then Barry comes back. Oh Lord, Barry comes back. Every now and then we have to reaffirm and shut the damn thing down again. For me, he messaged me after on a new account, and I blocked him. I didn't want to talk to this person because, honestly, it's not fair to anybody to go through that shit and be told, oh, you have to do it again. I actually tore into him about it, too. And I said, you told people I murdered my cat. A cat who I had my parents watching from the time you know? I mean, honestly, when I tell people this story, and I honestly don't really enjoy talking about this situation because a lot of times I try to block it out because what he did to me and the fact that he did it to all these other people, because this guy liked to guilt trip a lot of people. Guilt trip nothing. This guy was the walking epitome of the guilt trip city. But he also challenged a couple of my friends because he said he was part of a certain group. That group, who I'm friends with, were not happy. For one, you don't go up to this booth at Starfest and start belittling these people. These people spend millions of dollars on their costumes, work tons of hours on them, and to be insulted. Yeah, no. Yeah. So, that was the situation. It was a situation that took a lot of effort and a lot of people to do it. I do have personal thanks for a couple of my friends who participated and helped us kind of rid the group of this person. Honestly, with all the bullies I've dealt with in my life, I would take Doctor and a couple other people on top of that, and I would probably take them instead of this guy, because he actually triggered a lot of what happened between me and my roommate. My friends were convinced that was PTSD for the longest time. It is a form of PTSD because I am always constantly looking over my shoulder, hoping to God this guy does not appear. When it takes your former roommate, that was part of the 2009 incident, tell you, if I see this jerk, I am going to put him in the, I'm going to do whatever I can to keep him away from everybody. It had a lot to do with how it was handled and the way the community handled it. This is the one time I will praise the anime community for coming together and trying to put a stop to this, because it is a form of bullying and it isn't fair to them. It's not fair to anybody, really, even though the anime community in Colorado sucks balls. But that's my personal opinion. Take it or leave it. So, now that I got you or bored you for 13 minutes, I do apologize, and I do want to say this. If you ever get into the situation where you have a cyber stalker or a cyberbully, it is okay to block. It is okay to report the account. It is perfectly fine. And the thing is, I knew this person offline, too. And, I mean, he's changed a bit. Barry has changed. I'm not going to be forever holding this over his head, because I don't think he remembers half of it because he was in an accident. So it kind of clicks, kind of doesn't. A lot of people think, oh, he's going to go back to the way he was. It's kind of hard to go backwards with him. And honestly, I don't really want to hold a grudge on him, because he's a bit of a... Like I said, he was an idiot. A big idiot. So, I'm just going to say this to people. If you end up with a cyberstalker that you know in real life, chances are they're a lot worse online than they are offline. Then again, this is a guy who wanted to basically air my dirty laundry, which wasn't even dirty. It was just normal, everyday stuff. I mean, the guy aired my dirty laundry about my opinions, but a lot of people shared the same opinions I had. This guy obsessed over a group called Anonymous, and quite frankly, he was a little overly obsessive about everything. Honestly, if you ever run into somebody like him, it is okay to block. It is okay to tell people. It is okay to call the cops. It's okay. It is okay to inform people that you do not feel safe. I will not hold that against anybody. Honestly, the only people I hold this against is the people that chose to turn the other cheek and not take it for what it was, because honestly, this guy could have been a real big threat to anyone's personal safety. All this over the fact that he got dumped in 2010, 2009, 2010. And I knew the girl that he was dating, and she was a flake to begin with. So, yeah, that was the one thing that a lot of people don't realize, is that I do have some friends, and some girls, I swear, are the damn flakiest things ever. And it's not our fault entirely. I think it's just the way she was raised, or the way she mentally viewed the world. So, yeah, honestly, when I dealt with the situation and finished it off, I was excited that I could go back to my normal life, as normal as I didn't quite want it to be, and I quite frankly was happier and started working on my book. So, when, the one that got me was Barry actually did threaten to sue me if my book ever got published. And I'm like, what are you afraid of? I'm not even publishing anything about you. It's a fictional novel. So, yeah. That was just another one of his blowhard attempts. The funny thing is, when he would say he sent a message to somebody, like for, he couldn't spell corporate correctly, and I kind of figured it out that it was a fake letter. I actually reported it to my supervisor, and I had a printout of it. And that printout went on to corporate office, and they said that there's no way that letter matches any of the letterheads that they use, and that the fact that I never really contacted people online. Yeah. So, anywho, that was it. I'll talk to you later.